Hello and welcome to the Voice of TOD. I'm Tom, and today we're going to take a look at the future of the Terminal List. Chris Pratt's The Terminal List has future confirmed by Prime Video. Are Chris Pratt and Taylor Kitsch coming back for more? We're over here on Digital Spy. Link in description below if you want to check it out. Just a quick touch on Terminal List before we get into this. To put you out your misery so you don't need to watch the rest of the video if you don't want to. Yes, there's going to be more. We will get into it, but there is going to be more. But my sort of take on the Terminal List, you probably know I'm a massive fan of Chris Pratt. I'm an even bigger fan of Taylor Kitsch. Since Friday Night Lights, I have just loved everything that Taylor Kitsch has done. Even John Carter from Mars. It's not a good film, but there's something about Taylor Kitsch that I always find just fascinating, how he gets into these characters' mindsets. I have one criticism. I'm not really going to get into the Terminal List. I didn't do a review on it. I'm still working out how I want to do multi-part series reviews. Do I do them episodically? Do I do them sort of at the end? I don't really know, but it is something that I'd like to go back and actually review when I've figured out what I'm doing. I have one big complaint, which is at the very end. If you've seen it, you can probably figure it out. It's more for a review, but there was something that didn't sit right with me within the last episode. But outside of that, this is an incredibly brutal, incredibly well shot, well actioned, well choreographed, hardcore Chris Pratt at his serious acting finest TV series. I think it's excellent. I really liked the characters. I liked sort of how it dealt with the story that they were telling, and it's a story of a soldier who comes back from tour after a botched operation and everything just starts to crumble around him. It's a story that we've seen in multiple different things, but this just does it so well, so sensibly. I can't fault it, really. I really enjoyed the series. I'm glad it's coming back for more, but let's actually see what's coming in. So Amazon Studios and Prime Video have confirmed the future of Chris Pratt's The Terminal List. It's not just a case of renewal or cancellation. Deadline has reported that the streamer is turning the series into a franchise, commissioning both a second season of The Terminal List and a prequel series spin-off. The publication states that talks about a second season have been going on for months. And in these discussions, Pratt himself put forward the idea of a prequel. The new show, which doesn't have a name at the moment, will focus on Taylor Kitsch's Ben Edwards. It will also feature characters from season 1, including Pratt's James Reese, and other characters from Jack Carr's novel upon the Terminal List series is based. So we're getting a prequel focused on Taylor Kitsch. That's really good news for me. Reese, obviously, James Reese is the key character in the Terminal List. That's who Chris Pratt plays. So I think, really, after seeing the first series, I never really doubted that the second season would happen. It definitely deserved it, and I think the numbers were good enough. A prequel is new, but there's so much that you can do. From what I've seen, I don't know the book series, but from what I've seen, there is so much you can do before and after the Terminal List, like the 8 episodes or whatever it is. There's a lot of history, but there's also there's obviously a future, because there's 5 or 6 novels in this series. This is definitely going to be big if Amazon do it right, and they let Chris Pratt keep control. And he's the driving force of the show, but he's also, like, he does a lot behind the scenes. He's himself tried to focus on the character and get him as real as possible. Really good work. Really impressed with Pratt in this. Both Pratt and Kitsch will serve as exec producers on the upcoming prequel, which is good, alongside the Terminal List showrunner David DiGillo and exec producer Antoine Fuqua. Fuqua himself, again, this is a sort of passion project for him and Chris Pratt, so absolutely you've got to have him involved. Why would he change behind the scenes if it's working? And also Jack Carr himself, the author, fantastic. Former Army Ranger turned writer Max Adams and Pratt's coach Jared Shaw will also serve as producers. Pratt's coach? I've noticed in the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special, there's a whole like 20-man credit list of Chris Pratt's team. So he's obviously taken his team with him. I mean, bringing a former Armor Ranger, alright, turned writer, fine. But for me, I'm a Ranger in a sort of military focused series is always going to be a good thing for that key eye to detail and how things actually go down. So that's always good to see. And the prequel will document Ben's journey from Navy SEAL to CIA paramilitary operator. As for season 2 of The Terminal List, plot specifics have yet to be revealed. There's plenty of source material to work with though, and season 1 only teased some pretty big things. Pratt had long-term hopes for The Terminal List and Digital Spy exclusively. Jack Carr's written 5 extraordinary books. He's a prolific author, and they're all reading the top of the New York Times bestsellers list. I meant to say reaching. I think it'd be fantastic to keep the show going. DiGillo recently pointed fans towards Carr's novel True Believer, calling it a great blueprint for season 2. There's obviously Kitch on the right and Pratt on the left. I think this is great news. I never thought that this was in doubt. I think it's good that they've confirmed it now and they can start work on it. Chris Pratt, obviously Guardians of the Galaxy 3 being his last one, probably going to get pulled into some DC James Gunn shenanigans at some point with James Gunn being in charge over there. Who knows? But I think it's nice that he's lining these things up, you know, to move on from Star-Lord and really the franchise that I think to a lot of people made him a household name and turned him into this action star. But yeah, this is good. This is really good. The Taylor Kitsch thing, focusing on his character's move from the sort of Navy SEAL unit that he was in with James Reese, Chris Pratt's character, before this show started, and seeing how he sort of worked his way to where he is in season 1 is going to be really interesting as well. So I've got no complaints about this. More Terminal List is always going to be good. More Chris Pratt is always going to be good. More Taylor Kitsch is always going to be good. But let me know what you think on this, and if you watch the show, what your thoughts were. As I say, I'd like to do a review. I don't know how I'm going to do it yet. Maybe just before season 2 or just before the prequel series comes out, I'll rewatch it again and we'll do a review around that time. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. Do you think this is good, and do you think the series warranted sort of further stories in that universe? Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.